Welcome, friends, and thank you for tuning into the Optimal Health program today. As you might have noticed, I am totally dressed down today.
We love it.
For a few reasons. 3 reasons, maybe. Number one, I'm going out fishing off the beach in Montauk this afternoon as soon as I'm done with the program. And this is what I wore to work, cool, casual pants that turn into shorts. You can zip the legs off. Columbia makes them. So they're perfect to wear out on the beach. And just a nice, Tommy Bahama polo shirt. So it's comfortable. It's hot outside, so I need to be comfortable.
It's real hot. It's an oven outside. Perfect day to fish, I think.
Absolutely. The fish are waiting to be caught. And Mike and his other friends that are out there, and these are just people that come out and fish, and you have fish buddies. You either drive on the beach right after the lighthouse, you get a pass. You have to have a 4x4 truck. And you drive out on the beach there, and you can go out 100 yards, 500 yards, a mile, and really nobody's around you. You just sit out there and relax and have a nice time, and you fish. Then you could also, which we do a lot, go past the airport, go to this parking lot with a little shack, and it's called Shagwang, and, drive on the beach. And a lot of people have these really big campers, like 30-foot big camper, what do they call those things? Third wheel or whatever devices. And there are 40 or 50 of them out there. So people just put them there, park them, and just drive out and come to their camper. And every weekend, and some people stay longer. And it's kind of nice. Families, and they have little mini bonfires, and the kids are running around, and the ocean's beautiful. So we love it out there. So we go out to this actual point, Shagwang Point, where it juts out into the ocean. That's where everybody catches all the big fish. Striped bass are running now, so he caught a couple of nice striped bass. So he told me to bring white wine and butter. I'm like, okay. All right. Sounds like a good idea. So, yeah.
A lot of people saying, hello. How was Italy? A lot of people don't realize that you were, it came up quicker than people thought. People thought maybe you were coming in August. So,
I can only say Italy was spectacular. And, you hear the cliches about the food being better, and everybody says that in a casual sort of comment. It really is better. And I had never been to Sicily before, even though my father's side is from Sicily. And it is beautiful. It's ancient, and it's new. It's rustic. It's beautiful. I stayed at a resort called the Atlantic right on the beach. The staff was superb. They're always looking to see if you need anything. You raise your head a little bit. I just went to raise my head to look at the sights, and they come running over. They're just wonderful people. The manager of the restaurant, which is a gorgeous restaurant that overlooks this beautiful cove, and the water is, totally clear, 100 feet deep. It's just breathtaking. He asked about my last name, and he said, well, I know 5 different people that have your last name in Messina. That's obviously where my family's from. We don't hail from any other area, apparently, but we start in Messina, and we've kind of spread all over the place. So I spoke Italian 95% of the time when I was there. I had the best time. You make a lot of friends. I can make friends easily, and everywhere you go, and every bit of food was amazing. Between the anchovies, which over there are right out of the water. They're not this salty, crazy, horrible tasting thing that you get in a can, that's who knows how old it is. It's just fresh. I think the 2 hotels that are sister hotels have a captain who goes out in a little fishing boat, and again, the water is spectacular. No pollution at all. Goes out, catches the fish. They put it in a big saltwater tank. It's aerated, so it's like they're living in the ocean anyway. And then you pick what you're going to have for lunch or dinner, and it's that fresh. The water to your plate. So sardines were amazing. I had pasta con sardi.
I was just going to say, anchovies and sardines, they need a better, a PR agent for America. Because in America, gross.
I'm telling you, it's a whole different world.
Yeah.
I knew it, but I didn't really, I've never experienced it in Sicily. The fish is the best fish I've ever had in my life. It's the best water. It's the best fish. I had bream. I had a type of bass. I had all sorts of things. All the shellfish was amazing. One of the typical Sicilian dishes is called pasta con sardi. It's relatively famous, but the sardines over there are like branzino. They taste like nutty. And you grill them, and they have them in chunks in the pasta with these little yellow raisins and I guess fennel, a little bit of fennel, seasoning and such. And then I guess they toast some herbs and seasoning and put it on top of it. It's like heavenly. It's so good. My grandmother used to make it, and my mom did. And it's been a very long time since I had it. So to see that on the menu, I was going crazy. And the waiter came over and he said, "What?" I said, "Oh, it's blah, blah, blah." And I'm talking Italian. I'm like, how did I just say that whole phrase in Italian that I could never say here because my mind is not geared that way. You step off the plane, all of a sudden I'm talking relatively fluent Italian. Sicilian's tough, so it's kind of like a different language, but it was amazing to see how good everything was. And walking around Taormino is great. Russell Crowe received an award there the day before I got there. Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan were there. Dolce & Gabbana had a big event at the amphitheater there, which is thousands of years old. And from there I went to, flew to Pisa, and my friend's driver picked me up. He and his wife had their 30th wedding anniversary. They rented a villa in a town called Forte dei Marmi, which is breathtaking. And we went to this beach club, which was phenomenal. And, of course, last time I mentioned that I was walking by the restaurant of the beach club, and I turned and I see, is that Andrea Bocelli? I'm like, is it? I don't understand. How could he be here? This whole family and, younger children and older children. And I asked the waiter, I said, any chance I could just take a picture really quick, just a picture? He walks back, introduces me. "Oh, dottore, andiamo. Siediti, sit down." I'm like, sit down? And it hit me. I'm like, what do you mean sit down? I thought I was just going to stand and take a picture with him. We spent about an hour together. We had a little bit of lunch. We had espresso. We're talking about fish and culture and everything you could imagine in my ancestry and his ancestry and historical things. And it was just unbelievable. Like I was talking with somebody that I've known my whole life. And completely, what's the right word? The nicest, sweetest person you'll ever meet. And his wife was lovely. So we're talking about this and that. He says, "Oh, tell me about peptides." I said, "Peptides?" I said, "Really?" It just was a shock to me because that's what I do, and NAD and the Simorl and all the peptides, etc. So I told him I would get him all set up. So we exchanged phone numbers and email. And I've been sending them articles and, definitive things on NAD and the peptides. So I'm communicating with them and their aide, the assistant. It's just very nice. It's just the nicest people. So he said, "Well, we're coming to New York in September." And he said, "Where do you live?" I said, "I live in Oyster Bay, and right across from Billy Joel." So he started singing, I love you just the way you are, or whatever the song is. And I started singing with him. So I said to myself, this is, surreal. I'm on a beach in Florence with Andrea Bocelli, and, but the nicest people you'd ever meet. So was it a really big surprise that the food was going to be that good, or the seafood was going to be that good? Not really. Was it an overwhelming surprise that I would see him? Absolutely. And talk with him? Absolutely. And now help him with the peptides and the custom vitamin thing. I would have been less shocked if Martians landed on the beach and were asking for, prosciutto sandwiches, which, by the way, were really good. The beach, it's just high-end food at the beach. It's prosciutto, mortadella, warm burrata sandwiches on the beach. Over here, what do you get? A hot dog and a burger that's...
And a stale pretzel.
Who knows where it's from. Then I took the high-speed train to Florence. Saw the Statue of David early in the morning, went all over the place, got my pictures of Caravaggio and all the great painters. Went to an amazing restaurant at the Savoy Hotel. It was really it was an amazing, probably the best food trip I've ever gone on because I knew where to go. And I had gone many, many years ago. I didn't know where to go, what I was doing. Then took the super fast train to Rome. Went everywhere, took pictures, went to the Vatican. It was amazing. It's a perfect trip. So for anybody who hadn't heard before, it was the perfect trip.
Yeah, someone in the chat said, this is the most Dr. Chris story I've ever heard.
You know, it's funny that they say that because all of my friends, and when I told them, oh yeah, that's a Calapai thing. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because, yeah, you fall into that stuff. I said, wow, it's a Dr. Chris story. It's a Calapai thing. I'm like, wow, I guess I'll take it.
Unbelievable.
But it was so nice. I want to go back in October.
Which spot was the best? Someone's asking. Sicily or Florence? Uh-oh. You can't make him do that, guys.
It's two different things. Sicily is a gorgeous, beachy, seafood, rustic. Wow, how old this place is. And the beautiful hotel was into the mountains, so that had its own charm. And then going to Florence, Florence is elegant. It's gorgeous. When I first got there and I threw all my stuff in the room, I went to the concierge and I said, I want to walk around. Which way should I go? He said, look, my friend, just walk. You want to make a left, you go left. You want to make a right, you go right. He's giving me all these directions by Italian hand gestures. I said, you know what? I said, that's the perfect answer. I just walked around. I bought a Borsellino hat because it had to look, cool and Italian, like from the old movies. And I had an amazing meal at the Savoy Hotel. But et cetera, it's just, that was a gorgeous thing. The amazing thing in Sicily was the beach and the water and the food. And then Rome, the Vatican, it's just, you can't, and I've been there a few times, but you can't describe what the Vatican is like and do it any justice. You can't see videos and do it justice. You have to walk through that door, that 30-foot door, and you have to see the immensity of it. And I have a picture where it goes straight down to where the altar is, and it goes behind and back, etc. But the people next to me, they were in front of me, because you can't get people out of the picture. There's gazillions of people in there. We're regular height, but then when you see people by the altar, they're like ants. It's really, really far. It's really, really a gigantic, gorgeous marble building. The Pietà, there's just so much. So there are amazing things about it. But it's hard to say there was one perfect, moment, one perfect area.
There was you just said Russell Crowe, I believe.
Yeah.
He mentioned like his moment when he looked at that.
Yeah.
And at the time prior, he had explained it where he said that, the way he had viewed the whole thing of like, the Catholicism back in the day was that, they were building these huge things to just, prove to people that God is real and you got to listen to us. And he goes, I walked in there and it was like, no. No one could have done this without God pushing them to do this. And it was just immediate flick of like,
the size is overwhelming, the height, the length, the marble, the sculptures, the Pietà, even the statue of David in Florence. It's overwhelming. You see something that's so exquisite, you're like, how did a person do that? Michelangelo did the statue of David when he was 20. It's like a 70-foot tall single block of marble. It's exquisite,
Yeah.
How is that done? Of course, the desire to please God is the thing in the person's mind, and their unbelievable work ethic, which has never been and you'll never see ever again,
Right.
allowed them to work on something for a couple of years or many years. What did it take, 400 years to build the Vatican? It's just, and I'm sort of the king of coffee table books. At my house, I have these big Michelangelo and Leonardo and Raphael, coffee table books, because they're beautiful. And you look at pictures, and pictures don't even come close. I tell all my patients, anybody that I talk to, figure out in October or May to go to Rome. If you want to go to Italy your first time, go to Rome. Walk around, spend 5 days, 4 days, whatever you can afford, whatever you can do. It's less expensive if you go in those months. But you'll be blown away. You have no idea what exists over there until you feel it and see it. There are unfinished carvings in marble right before you turn the hallway. You see Statue of David that are Michelangelo's unfinished works. He didn't like the marble after a while.
Yeah.
He just left it. So there's half a woman sticking out of the marble, and she's obviously, naked on the top, and, her leg is still in the block of marble, so he didn't carve all that out. But you can touch things that Michelangelo touched in the 1500s. And the paintings, you're like, how do they do that? I feel like a complete loser I can't paint. I mean, my stick figures I can't even understand.
My handwriting.
Yeah, it's beyond anything that you could imagine.
Yeah. Unbelievable. I do have a medical question in the chat.
Yes.
So, high blood pressure, ended up in the hospital. One of the things doctors seem to badmouth, everyone else seems to sing the praises. When I was taking them, I seemed to have more energy and less fatigue. High blood pressure medication are you talking about? And then he or she said, maybe it was coincidence, but the doctor gets worked about creatine. I am taking the minimum dose. I am not slamming it 5 times a day or anything. So creatine.
I've yet to hear of anybody who takes some creatine that has a problem with it.
No, they said, so creatine for someone with high blood pressure, really a huge no-no. Also, I have hints to possible kidney issue that doesn't seem to be getting worse, thought to be due to
remember that every drug or even a nutrient or even something you might take as a supplement, not 100% of people will get a good result from it. There are some people that might take something that have a bad result or outcome. Creatine is important for brain function. They're doing all this research on Parkinson's, and creatine helps, with cognition. Bodybuilders have been using it for decades to just get their muscles to be more full when they work out on the creatine. If the blood pressure has gone up, is it likely a kidney issue that may not be related to the creatine? That's possible. If a person's got a blood pressure issue in the first place, I've seen people that are on an even keel. Their blood pressure is good. They may be on one medication or two. They do exercise. They do low carb. Great. They stop doing exercise for a couple of weeks. Their pressure shoots up. They didn't realize how important the exercise was to help control blood pressure, because it keeps your blood vessels open to receive more blood the more activity you do. There are some people who drop out some of their vitamins and they change their diet and their pressure goes up. So it's not enough information for me to be able to go on 100%, but there are variables that allow the blood pressure to pop up, even magnesium, potassium in the diet. So if magnesium, potassium had dropped down, pressure goes up.
All right, and I'll be monitoring to seeing if if you want to respond to that. If you have any.
Yeah, I need a little more info.
Yeah, if you want to clarify anything there. Can stress alone cause high blood pressure, or is there usually something else going on?
In some people, yeah. Stress is a response to aggravation or something that mentally or physically bothers you, and the mental and physical component you can't separate. So whatever's going on in your brain will affect your body. Some people get stressed out and they have neck and shoulder and back aches and pains because they're kind of hunching their shoulders because they get aggravated in that fashion. Some people have stomach problems from stress response. Other people get headaches. So it could be any number of things. But elevated blood pressure could be from low magnesium, low potassium, too much fluid on board, too much salt in your diet, overweight, lots of things. That's why we want to take a look at the entire picture for people and fix every part of the picture.
2-part question, part Italian, part medical. Love our YouTube chat.
Sounds
good. Our YouTubers over here.
Gotta love it.
So Rome is unreal. Did you go to Castel Sant'Angelo?
Yeah, that's where the Pope went to go sing for. The Pope went to sing. That's where Andrea Bocelli went to go sing for the Pope. Yeah, that's sort of. You can pass that 100 times when you're driving around Rome. Of course, I asked my friend Tom, and he's a driver that he uses all the time, took me on an amazing tour of Rome. So you couldn't possibly see all the things that I saw in 4 to 5 hours on your own. You just can't, because you don't know where to go and you don't know what streets to go down. So the driver's name was Gabriele. And we went everywhere, Capitoline Hill, to take pictures of the Forum. We went to really everywhere, Spanish Steps. And interestingly enough, he gave me the historical perspective of everything. Circus Maximus, where they had the chariot races. So we literally saw everything. Then, interestingly enough, we'd go down a side street and it was, here, jump into this church and go look on the right. There's a Caravaggio painting there. Because I told him how much I love, Caravaggio paintings, oil paintings. So I jumped out of this little church that was, you'd probably go right by if you didn't know, and inside was this gorgeous, gorgeous oil painting from the 1500s. And then we went to another place. Then we stopped at some point. We had espresso. We went to Piazza Navona. We went everywhere of any noteworthy significance, yeah. And then I went to the Vatican. The Vatican gift shop had some amazing things. So I bought some rosaries for my sister and etc. And I still have the Vatican gift shop info on my phone in case you want to get something there. Because you can get it, have it blessed by the Pope and sent over. So I did that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, there's so much to see. The good thing is I saw all of that before a few times in Rome, and it just refreshes your memory. And he was giving me literally a history class on every one of these buildings and how the Pantheon was created by Agrippa back 200 BC. And then there were some issues there, a fire there, and they fixed it. And I think was it Marcus Aurelius? One of the other emperors redid it and kept Agrippa's name on it because it was in tribute to him. So I wouldn't have done any of that stuff. No. Would have had to take me a month to read all the books to understand what I was seeing.
And it's also just amazing how much has never been found. Like I believe the Rome subway system is so bad because they just had to give up at a certain point because every 50 feet they dug, they found some historical something they had to go around, and it just became impossible.
And you see this and you hear this all the time, and I watch the news for this, and every time I hear it, and I look online for it, they find Etruscan civilization, 100 feet below somewhere. Like I say, you're digging for subway, and all of a sudden pottery shows up. Like, oh my God, that's, pre-BC.
Right. And you could imagine how many people, have a basement where they were digging in Rome, and they're like, "Oh no,
absolutely,
we can't show anyone this because they're going to take our land."
Exactly,
it's going to be
Even farms and fields, they find things. Well, think of it. There were civilizations there for 1,000 years. So, what happens over time is that it gets covered up by soil and by vegetation. And it's all hidden. And, people find things like that all the time.
Okay, so that was the Italian question. And then here's the medical question. Kind of medical, kind of political. And I love it. What did you think about the Fauci testimony, Doc?
He is the worst of the worst. He is the biggest liar. And I'm glad that people are all commenting about what he did with the AIDS epidemic and forced people on AZT, which killed a lot of people. He's one of the worst human beings ever. He probably will lead to be killing more people than almost anybody in history. They created the virus, just as I said, over the past few years. They made it. Now there's a ton of evidence for that. They said, oh, yeah, wet market. That's crap. They made it. They made it infectious with gain-of-function research. He paid for it. And other people like Barrick and others were involved in Burks. And they knew what was going to happen. They released it to the population. The stock market crashed. They planned that. So they invested in the stock market crashing. They invested in paper mask and towel and et cetera companies where people had to buy each of these things. They made a ton of money. All to make money and kill people. That's exactly what they did. And then, under the Obama administration, 2015, when the Journal of Science and Journal of Nature were saying that we shouldn't be messing around with coronaviruses and gain of function, they did all that and they made a vaccine. Back then, it probably took 10 years to make, maybe more, that many vaccines. And I think they made them in these, crooked criminal science labs in Ukraine, where they had all these bioweapons labs, and that's where they were making all these vaccines. And maybe other countries too, paying them well. Because how do you get, 6 billion vaccine bottles made, in a short period of time? This was a concerted effort by all these people. And Fauci was, I'm sure steering the ship with Obama and all these other horrible people.
When I watched him, plead the fifth, how many times was it? Over 90, over 100. Mm-hmm. It's like he's the pawn. It's like they have him there. to take care of, and protect everyone else. And it's just so obvious.
Yeah. Well, they'll keep digging. They're not going to let it go. Too many people died as a result of it. They're not going to let it go.
I'm going to have a follow-up from our friend who was discussing the creatine. He said, the problem is I started feeling better. I messed up taking BP meds. Creatine became the change. I was in a bad place in my 30s and didn't take care of myself. Bad diet choices, high stress.
Yeah, so it probably was a combination of all of those things and much less likely just the creatine. Because the things that you just mentioned are very significant contributors to all of that and to the pressure. So
yeah, they also mentioned that now if they don't take the meds, their BP will skyrocket.
My comment would be, what's your weight? If you're overweight, you lose weight, pressure comes down. If you haven't done exercise, start that, pressure can start coming down. If your magnesium, potassium's low, correct that, pressure could come down. If your hormones are low, etc., that's why we do this. We look at every component in every patient, and that's why we fix so many things. Certainly feel free to give us a call at the Garden City office if you like, 516-794-0404, and we'll help you out. Even people that live distance, we could do a telehealth visit, get your blood work done.
We got you. And I've been corrected by the chat. It was 111 times, Fauci. Incredible. Isn't that just incredible?
Of course. But he's not allowed to plead the fifth if he's pardoned, which is a fake pardon anyway.
Right.
And now they're going after the other guy that was Fauci's, I don't want to say superior, but a guy that Fauci worked with that was, a predecessor or something to him. And they're going to get him, put him in there, and flip him and have him rat out on Fauci. There's so many different ways to get to these people. They just have to do it.
Gotta do it, man. Ay. What else do we have here? Our generation's Mengele? Mengele.
People have said that because, back in Nazi Germany, Mengele was the guy, the doctor, who did experiments on
Dr. Doom.
People and twins and all of that. Horrendous. This is what they're doing. People have no, they have no problem causing damage and killing and hurting people. That's what they did. They have no soul.
Do energy drinks have a bigger effect on blood pressure than coffee? I've been trying to wean off of my Red Bull.
Energy drinks typically are more of a stimulant, and they've got a great deal more caffeine or stimulants in them than coffee. So, you got to get away from them because all they're going to do is damage your brain and damage your heart.
But they say it gives you wings, Doc.
Yeah, but you have to die to have wings to be an angel.
Funny enough, there is a woman. A woman, I guess you can call her smart, Doc. Smarter than me and you, because that woman sued Red Bull successfully because she was able to say in a court of law that it did not, in fact, give her wings. And successfully won millions of dollars from Red Bull.
Wow.
And now it says wings with like 3 S's at the end, like wings. So it's not a real. They had it wings. It's very, very specific.
Interesting. Or like the one who went to McDonald's and spilled the coffee in her lap and she won millions of dollars.
Right. I've heard walking can lower blood pressure. It is incredible how much better it has been since I lost 10 to 15 pounds. Thank you, Doc.
So think of it, when you walk, you're sort of demanding that your blood vessels open to get that extra blood to go to all your muscles and your tissues. So if you walk once a month, that one time you'll have a short-term dilation of your blood vessels, but then it goes back to the way it was. If you do it once a week, a little better. You do it every day, then the blood vessels are opening up and staying open, and you're delivering more oxygen, vitamins, minerals, and hormones to your tissues, and you get the ultimate sustained benefits because you're doing it all the time. That's your new normal when you're doing a lot of walking or biking or exercise, whatever you want to do, yoga, Pilates, any of these things, maybe even pickleball. But your body adapts and does better when it's given a good stimulus.
What's the deal with all of these drugs that claim to help brain function, but then at the end of the commercial has hundreds of side effects that you'd rather die than have?
Yeah, they have never really created a drug to help your brain ability or function because they're not focused on correcting what's wrong, just like lots of other drugs. I've seen tons of patients take Eldepril, Depronyl, any number of combination meds that are supposed to be good for your brain, and for dementia and Alzheimer's, just don't see it work. Every drug has side effects, and it's almost impossible to make a drug that has zero side effects because they're a chemically created product. Right. You know, even natural things sometimes can have side effects. You could be allergic to something that's even natural, but the point is, if the reason why the pressure is high, the reason why the memory loss is there, the reason why things are happening is not addressed, it won't change. You can give blood pressure pills like diuretics to people, but if you haven't checked their magnesium potassium levels first, you may be making it worse because you're pushing out fluid with magnesium potassium. That's why they've created potassium-sparing diuretics. So sometimes the treatment can worsen the condition. If heavy metals are causing the brain changes, if you don't change the heavy metal mechanism by doing the intravenous treatment, the calcium EDTA, you can throw lots of meds at it. It's not going to make a difference.
You can drink a Mountain Dew and take an Excedrin with caffeine and still miss the caffeine amount in one of these energy drinks by 2 times. Yeah. True. But less sugar, don't you know?
The other thing, too, is that as a person ages, and this is a really big comment that I tell patients, your body's aging. That means that you've lost that really robust new cell production in all of your organs, so that when you had trillions of new cells all the time and every second when you're young, as you've gotten older, you're not making the new cells. Your organs are less in number. You're not making the neurotransmitters. You're not making the hormones, etc. That's how your body ages, and you see difference in function. The only answer to cellular loss is putting new cells in, which is stem cell therapy. That's why stem cell therapy works so well for these degenerative disorders, because you're putting brand new cells in where you've lost the ability to make those new cells. We had a lovely young lady we spoke to the other day. I saw her in the office, and she's had a rheumatoid and a variety of multiple aches and pains, issues all over her body. We spoke to her. She wants to come on and do the program and talk with us and give us a little insight as to how well she's doing. But we did stem. All her aches and pains are gone. I saw her Thursday. When did I text you about her? Maybe Thursday?
Friday, maybe.
Thursday, no, Wednesday, Thursday, whichever day. And she's down to come on the show and talk about it, but she has no more aches and pains. She could put her jewelry back on her fingers because the swelling's gone. It's only about a week or so after therapy. So she's happy as can be because we're shutting down the inflammation and you're putting brand new cells into where you used to make a lot of cells.
It's amazing. Unbelievable. Someone's mentioning neurogum is also harmful. Not sure what neurogum is. Are you aware? I'm locked in. Missed you, Dr. Chris.
Thank you.
Loved the interviews. Oh yeah, we ran the veteran interviews when he was on vacation. We were running those veteran interviews.
Yeah,
which
those are some of the most compelling.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you were watching that live, that was a replay from a few months ago. But that's what the doc does.
We have a few more vets coming in next week, I think. On Thursday, I think we have 2 or 3 more veterans that have had traumatic brain injury. So we're pushing forward with it. And we're trying to reach, people in the administration to try to get the government to step up and cover stems for traumatic brain injury veterans. So we're working on it.
Yeah. Someone said in the chat that, with these new weapons, with Havana syndrome and all these things, I feel like stem cell is going to be so much more important.
Yeah. If you were to sit back and look at a really important treatment for any degenerative disorders in your body and inflammatory issues, stem cells the thing. It's just that traditional medicine doesn't want people off of drugs. They don't want people off of doing all sorts of testing and things that they're doing. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that there are people, that ran this whole vaccine thing and this whole viral thing to make a crazy amount of money. That's why they did it. They wanted to unseat Trump. They wanted to create havoc, and they did. And the more that you watch some of this and the people commenting on what Fauci's done, the more you'll realize it. Yeah. There are people out there that are not looking to help you. They're looking to abuse you and take whatever, money they can.
You're training our audience very well, Doctor, because someone's mentioning that they saw someone explaining what could help avoid cancers, and one of the comments were to go into the sauna because it pulls out metals. But I've been taught by Dr. Chris that that's impossible, sir. So I wrote in the comments, try some chelation. Love it.
There you go. So on that note, it's wonderful that the comment was made there. I appreciate that very much. I ask people when doctors or people tell them something, be a little critical of it. Say, well, how? How does going into the sauna take something out of your system? And how do you test that it's out? Where is it in the first place? How do you access it? How do you prove that you're reaching and grabbing it and pulling it out? There's none of that. There is purely, absolutely that with the calcium EDTA chelation treatment. You see it in your blood, you see it in your urine, you do the IV, you watch a lot of it come out. Then over time, as you recheck the IV and nothing's coming out, it's because you pulled it all out. That's the scientific method.
You guys are funny. Oh, man. I guess you're not going to a Yankee game anytime soon, Doc. Sorry. I know. Too soon. At least we're not the Mets. All right? So, Mr. Commenter. I know you're messing with us. You're probably a Yankee fan, too.
I still love him.
We love him.
And what's his name? Spencer Jones? That kid's a big, strong kid.
Yeah.
He crushed a home run.
Yeah.
Crushed it.
Listen, we got some injuries we're dealing with, people.
It happens. You got to bounce back. It's early.
Finally got the call. They have our flu vaccines ready. I told them to eat. I can't say that online. But, yep, it's about that time. They'll be calling.
That's another question I have. Between September, etc., how do they know what flu is here? I don't know yet. They've never announced it. And if it takes, a couple of years to make 350 million flu vaccine shots, how did they know 3 years ago what it was going to be?
Yeah.
Simple question. People don't like to question authority because they like to put people on pedestals. Like little Fauci was on a little Napoleon pedestal for the longest time, and now he's not. But, and also there was an agenda. And it was a left sort of leaning agenda that wanted to get at Trump and, join with this, and all these stupid celebrities that were saying, get vaccinated, blah, 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 blah. If you don't, you're killing us, And all the, quote, conspiracy theorists were right once again.
Check. That's what we're doing. We're checking. Check.
Yep.
Wouldn't it be great if we could just slow down again and go back to real non-processed foods? We wouldn't be having all of these health issues anymore. Go back to getting food from local farms again.
Absolutely, positively, without a doubt. I'm a big fan of that. I get food grown at organic farms. Moolah Farms, one of our favorite people, Sal and Christina, and their kids running around, and their cows and all the little animals, the little baby goats and all that. It's just a beautiful existence, that they have. And they do a great job, and they put out great food. And Christina's a great cook, and she makes amazing food. The sourdough bread she makes is outstanding. And the ice cream is just strawberries in a blender, organic strawberries with cream, and they freeze it. There's nothing else in it. There's no garbage in it. There's no junk in any of the food they make, so that's what you have to choose to do.
Yeah.
And there are, I'm sure, a few places all over the island. I know there are places in Jersey and Connecticut where people are growing things in pure fashion with no junk and no preservatives, and that's what you've got to choose to eat, and you'll feel different. In Italy, there's no preservatives and chemicals and junk in the food, and you taste the difference. You taste eggs, and you see how beautiful the eggs are. The pasta, I mean, it's impossible to describe. But you feel the difference. And that's why a lot of people say, oh, yeah, I went to Europe. I went to Italy. I was there for X number of days, and I lost weight. Because you're not putting crap in your body.
Yeah.
I think I also lost weight because I was walking 15,000 steps a day, most days. But, I'm so inquisitive. I wanted to see everything, take pictures of everything. And I have one album of all of the Sicily pictures, another album of all the food that I had every day through the entire trip, another in Forte dei Marmi, another in, Florence, another in Rome. So that's what I do. And now I have to pick some of them and make them into framed pictures and put them in the office.
Oh, yeah. Duh. And I'll just add to, that person who mentioned, wouldn't it be great if we went back to farms and all that? There's also just that component of, the safety of, in the worst case scenario, transportation gets halted, all these trucks, all of our food is coming in on these 18-wheelers instead of locally grown, in the worst case, COVID is one thing, but another situation where people can't travel, it would just be much more sound mind when you know that all the food is right around there.
Of course. And I tell people, go online, and find organic farms near where you live. I told you that crazy story I had with the chickens once. So my friend Ray, Estates Dry Cleaners, by the way, let's do a plug for Ray at Estates Dry Cleaners. One of the most brilliant people that I know. He's probably laughing now. But brilliant beyond all comparison. And he told me to go to this chicken farm to get fresh eggs. I'm like, I love eggs, love fresh eggs. So it's somewhere deep in the North Shore, hidden areas of Long Island and Nassau County. And, I needed navigation to figure out which way to go. And even that wasn't good. So I get to this place. I drive under the property through a little gate. And I see this, little area, little shed. And there's a fridge in there. And, brown eggs and white eggs and all great-looking stuff, really healthy and organic. And it's a very big, open, free-range property. So I get the eggs, I got to put them in the car, and there's like a gazillion chickens, like looking at me. They're everywhere, left, right, back, front. They're like everywhere. I'm like, this is like a scene from The Birds, the Hitchcock movie, but with chickens. And I'm sure there may be some people that have phobias of chickens. Of course I don't, but they were everywhere. So I'd go to get back in the car, and actually, no, I left the car door open, and the chickens are just trying to look at inside the car, and they're thinking of jumping in that car. And I walked over to the door, I snuck in, sat down, closed the door, had to shoo a few chickens away, but it was like they were reaching out to me for something, like, help me. It was weird. So I go to turn around and drive, and they didn't want to move, and I'm trying to turn the car around and drive. I'm like, this is bizarre. So I finally turned the car on very slowly, and I'm leaving. And I looked through the rearview mirror, and these chickens are still like staring at me. I was like, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen. But the eggs were good. I have gone back.
Have you, though? Okay.
Once.
Slowly.
I feel like throwing out some bread or something like that for the chicken to eat.
Yeah, you need a diversion or something with a loud noise. Scare them. Someone said, I got chickens. My wife laughs when people start panicking about egg shortages. We just walk to the backyard.
Yeah, that's genius. My good friend Mike, I call him Montauk Mike. He's a great fisherman, stonemason, contractor, does some amazing work in every way. Very talented. Right before COVID hit, he had this feeling. He said, you know what? I'm going to create a cellar where I can have all sorts of things and canned food and rice and blah, 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 blah. Because he watches all these TV shows like I love to do, where they're off the grid and they make a root cellar and they have all the vegetables in there and it's in the ground and the temperature is perfect. And he does this, and he just started buying extra towels and toilet paper way before COVID. Then he decides to get some chicken. I said, really? He said, yeah, I got about 8 chickens in the bathroom. I'm like, what do you mean in the bathroom? He goes, yeah, in the bathtub. I said, you have 8 chickens in the bathtub? I'm like, why? I don't understand. Because I'm going to raise chickens. I'm building a big coop for them in the backyard. I said, oh, okay. And he built this beautiful coop. It's like a chicken hotel. So it's got to be 10 feet high, maybe 15 by 15 or 20 feet. It's big. And little ramps for them to walk up and ramps for them to walk down and this and that and all the other stuff. Then, of course, he uses the leftover stuff as a fertilizer. He doesn't let anything go to waste.
Wow.
But he's got so many eggs, and the eggs are really, really delicious. I think everybody should do it if they can.
Wow.
Grow a big garden.
Unbelievable. People don't get it. If you get 4 hens for your backyard, you will be guaranteed at least 2 eggs a day.
There you go.
And then someone said, and chickens are largely self-sufficient, just have to be sure they have clean water and 1 large scoop of feed.
There you go.
There you go. Oh, we got a
People should do it.
medical question here. What do you recommend for bone-on-bone knees to avoid surgery?
So the first thing I talk to patients about that are told they have bone-on-bone when they walk in the office, I ask them about, well, did you have an MRI? And typically they say no. Because the ortho might do an x-ray, and that doesn't show you everything. It just shows you bone. And depending upon how the x-ray is angled, shadows, etc., you might think that, wow, it really is bone on bone. And if a person's got some pain, in doing this for so many years, it's more rare to see bone on bone than it is to see ligament, tendon, cartilage tear, meniscus tear, where you have pain. But the doctor says you have bone on bone because they want to do surgery. Mm. And I've seen lots of people, thousands and thousands of knees that were bad, and ankles and hips and shoulders, etc., back, all of that. And the MRI shows there's no bone on bone, but there are a couple of nasty tears in the meniscus. So typically for that, we do stem cell, because that allows those cells to colonize, divide over the course of years to create repair, and then people don't need surgery. Are there people that need surgery? Absolutely. But not as many people as I've seen that don't need surgery because they don't have bone on bone. There are criteria that have to be met to do a knee replacement, like a shoulder replacement. There are criteria that have to be met to do a bypass, heart transplants, all these things. But I see a lot of people thinking they need to have surgery when they might not necessarily have to have surgery. With the general anesthesia, the risk there. So I always request the MRI. Always want patients to get that, or I'll write the prescription so they can get that. That's the most complete picture of what's going on with the whole joint.
Second opinions are always something you want to do without having to learn to do. I like that.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. Mac. What was that? Back to chickens. But my husband spends hours watching YouTube videos on raising and feeding naturally. I love the eggs. YouTube has taken care of us men. Okay, things you don't know, you can learn.
Absolutely.
I've learned.
And you could, and I tell people to go do it. Go get regular eggs in the market, or go to a regular restaurant and have the regular eggs. Then go to Molosky's Poultry Farm on 25 or 25A, whatever it is, near Brookhaven, right past East Wind Spa. Get some really delicious, organic, healthy eggs, or if you want to go to that Hitchcock place that I went to, you can go there. I don't remember the name of it. Or, just go get healthy, organic, natural eggs and see the difference. Huge difference. Or have duck eggs. They're delicious. Even more delicious than chicken eggs.
And just in the color.
They're very silky. They're big, almost double size, double yolk eggs. Duck eggs. Delicious. Molosky's Poultry Farm.
Boom, boom. Just caught the live show. We'll have to listen to what I missed. Yes, you better, Rumblemania. Where you been? You know us.
That's
Optimal
right.
Health, 2:30.
We're always here most of the time.
We're always here most of the time. Let me see what we got. Let me check my YouTube. You guys have been pretty lively on YouTube today. I do.
So should I tell a funny story about Montauk?
Oh, we must hear it.
So a few years ago, I went out to Montauk, and my friend Rolando and Ozzy, they came out, and they're not fishermen, but they think they know everything. And they're wonderful people. And I go out there, and, we're fishing off the beach. They didn't catch anything. They weren't even sure how to throw the lines out. So they left. I stayed out with Mike, and we had a little 18-foot, Boston whaler that he would trailer behind his camper. We pushed it in the water, went out. I think it was his buddy George, who was his sister's husband. 3 of us in a boat. We caught like 40-some-odd bluefish. It was like a frenzy. It was crazy. Catching, whipping them in the boat and putting them into the belly, the well, and we just went crazy catching the fish. We bring them back to shore because with bluefish, you have to clean the fillet away from the bloodline, the red meat. Otherwise, that oil destroys the taste of the fish. And I didn't really know that because I never experienced it, and nobody would eat bluefish anywhere because you're like, ooh, oily. So we get back to the boat. Mike's got a 2x12 piece of wood with a clamp on it, clamps the head of the fish, goes down to the bone, takes the red line out, leaves some of the skin, does both sides. We do it to the fish, and of course, you get these amazing fillets, and you wouldn't really know what fish it was. It was so delicious. So, did it in the pan a little bit. But we made a video where, because I had this idea, I was taking some of the fish that were already caught and dead and walking down to the water and just swirling them back and forth in the water to kind of clean them off a little bit. So I had this idea of making believe I was catching bluefish by hand, which, of course, no one would ever do. So I'm sitting there going, oh, my God, these things are going crazy. I made it look like I caught them because they're dead fish, and I grabbed, and I'm just, one of them starts to go towards my neck, and Mike's like, be careful, it's going to go for your neck, etc. Then I threw the fish back on land, and it landed on the sand and got stunned. I can't tell you how many people I showed that video to that thought I was catching bluefish by hand.
Dude.
I sent it to everybody I knew, and all my friends sent it to everybody they knew. Only a few people said, nah, that's not possible. But it worked for a while. I may have to put that video on the show here one time.
You have to. Are you kidding me? That should be on your Instagram.
I know I have it on my phone.
Oh, man. You know what I would love to do is I would love to fish out in Italy. That would be a dream.
Yeah, it's a different thing. You see these boats going out, and there are places where they call them boats in the sky because one island off of Sicily called Lampedusa, that's what they say. Because you look at a picture, you're like, why is that
Where's the
boat
sky
above the water? Yeah, it's you can't understand how clear it is. And think about dropping a line and watching the fish get on the hook, and you're catching the fish and watching it 10, 15, 20, 30 feet down. I mean, the clarity is unbelievable.
Yeah. And no sharks, which is always good.
Oh, I'm sure they're around, but
All right, is it too salty over there?
I don't know, to tell you the truth. I think sharks are kind of everywhere because they adapt. They're unchanged in hundreds of millions of years, if you believe anything about evolution and how old the planet is. We'll get into a different discussion on that. But, yeah, they're a creature like alligators and turtles that has not changed in however many million years. They're so perfect. Another little anecdote that I talk about is, when you got to go fishing or do something, and crabbing, whatever. Mike brought out some kayaks. His daughters used to use them and race each other. We get in the kayaks, we put a little pole holder on it, a net holder. We pedal out 300-400 yards. Birds are hitting the water. We go right towards it, throw the lures, boom, bluefish. And I'm wearing like really thick, heavy, like steel weaved gloves so I don't get them to bite my finger off. At any rate, I put them on a wire ring, and I put them off the side of the boat to keep them in the water so they stay more fresh. And then after, 3 or 4 fish, 5 fish, I don't know what made me do, so I just turned around and I looked, and it was like an oil slick with blood on it on the top of the water behind the kayak. And I closed my eyes for a minute. I said, oh, my God, what am I doing? I said, I'm chumming for shark, and I'm in this rickety little crappy kayak.
No.
So I took the bluefish, put them in the well. I'm trying to signal to Mike, shark. And I was trying to make signs, don't put the bluefish on the side of the boat. So I raced and I pedaled back into shore. And, of course, nothing happened. But it's just for the moment that I thought, wow, my God, what am I doing? I'm just putting the signal out, ringing the dinner bell. And, it's ocean. And if great whites can come into New Jersey near Long Beach, everything's out there in the water. So, luckily, I skirted disaster one more time.
I will say, when I was young, we went to Dominican Republic. Me and my family went to some place in Dominican Republic. Mm-hmm. I go to sleep on a floating raft dock. Okay. You know when they have the jetties out there to stop the waves so that it's totally still at a beach?
Yeah.
It's still water. I'm floating. I go to sleep. I wake up. I'm like, oh, I might get a sunburn. Maybe I should go in. And I see a sign next to me, and it's just that picture of a poison sea urchin.
Yeah.
And it's danger, with that on it. And I look down, and I'm in like 2 inches of water. It's all rock below me. And I see they're just the spikes everywhere.
Yeah.
And I got like 3 inches of water. I'm like, guys, SOS. What do I do? Panic.
Yeah.
I didn't get up. Got to be careful out there.
Not too much of a comforting moment. Yeah.
No. Our chat is talking about duck eggs, the consistency, the differences.
They're creamy. They're delicious.
Yes.
They're better.
More complex. Silky. That's what I'm getting.
Absolutely. Go to Molosky's. You'll see. Get a dozen eggs out there, and you make them like, oh, my God, what have I missed?
And then there's the quail egg, which is really small, but
they're good.
Cute
Tiny.
little, yeah.
Tiny but good. And then there's the ostrich egg.
Well, yeah, the other side.
I used to have a friend who was a ostrich farmer, and but a big farm in Florida, near Cape Coral. And he had ostrich. He had all sorts of wild, crazy animals, and he had a meat farm, and he had a big bandsaw where he would cut up the meat and stuff, so cows and all that. But we were there one day, and for lunch, he just took an ostrich egg, brought it out. It's literally that big. It's like the size of an NFL football, without the pointiness on the sides. And he cracked it open, made an omelet with it, put some seasoning, chorizo and stuff in it. It was absolutely delicious. So that's the biggest freaking egg I've ever seen. Like a dinosaur egg. It was good.
Ever tried pickled quail eggs? Like the bite-sized candies. Ooh, that sounds amazing.
It sounds good.
Someone in the chat says, my sister just came back from Italy, and there was just a heat wave, so you just missed that one, Doc.
No, I was in the heat wave.
Oh.
So 115 degrees.
Oh, no.
As much as I'd like to say I missed it, it was 115 in Sicily, so I would get up in the morning, go jump in the ocean, relax a little bit, go have a little breakfast, sit by the pool or in the chairs by the ocean, and every 10, 15 minutes I had to jump in the ocean. I could sit here all day long and lay in the sun. Fortunately, I've got good, Sicilian skin, so I don't burn. But let me tell you, I felt like bacon in a pan over there. And every time I jumped in the water, I cooled off. I was drinking tons and tons and tons of water. Pellegrino, lots of fruits and fruit squeeze in the water. They have all that stuff there for you. But it was hot. And strangely enough, because Taormina's on the top of a hill, you take the cable car up, had a nice cool breeze. That was the only thing was kind of keeping us going, because nice cool breeze kind of made it easy, kind of calmed you down.
Keep you alive,
Whew.
You mean.
In Rome, I bought a ticket to be, not to have to wait online to get into the Vatican. And I get to the section to the right side of Vatican Square, and there's nobody there. I'm like, great, let me go have an espresso, something. I do. I get out of the cafe, walk over the line, there's 500 people there. I'm like, what the hell? How did these people get here in like 10, 15 minutes? And it was 100 degrees plus, and had to wait online. I said, so this is just a scam to charge me €40 to make me think that I'm not going to be online.
Oh, man. Chat's quieted down a bit. I'll give him some chances.
Let's ask people what their daily diet plans are. What do you have for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks? Curious to ask people.
Let's see. Give him a moment for the delay. One of our YouTubers said, I've been skipping breakfast for the past couple months. It's helped me bring down my weight. However, my energy before lunch is abysmal.
So, if your body was used to having something for breakfast, and it makes a little bit of insulin in the anticipation of having breakfast, your sugar is going to start to drop. And you feel horrible before lunch because you may have gone too long without having something. So I tell those people, and I'm looking for an article that talks exactly about that because I saw that today. I think literature shows, this idea of intermittent fasting. If you don't have much for breakfast, and you could have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, I'll put a scoop of protein powder or gain plant protein in the coffee. I'll put collagen peptides because it's good for your skin and your hair and your nails. And I'm good until probably 2, 3 o'clock. I'm not hungry at all, but I put vitamins and protein on board, which is great. What's better than that? And it's liquid, so it gets absorbed right away. It's not like you have a big meal sitting there with pancakes and waffles and all the other crazy things that people have for breakfast. Cereal, which is a disaster. But it may be that if you get up at 6 or 7 and you're not eating until 1 or 2, at 10, 11 o'clock you should have something. Maybe an egg, a hard-boiled egg, maybe some vegetables. Maybe take cashew milk yogurt from Forager Project, 1 gram of carb for 8 ounces of drinkable yogurt. Put some berries in it. No sugar. It's good for you. Put the protein powder in like I do. And just have that. And you're good. No sugar. And you'll carry through. And then whatever your next meal is, you'll be able to feel good and not have low blood sugar.
Garden goodies. Oh, wait. Garden goodies? Squash, eggs, arugula, nastardium.
Yeah, for sure. I love arugula.
What's garden goodies? Why don't I know what that is?
Maybe they're talking about
they're talking about
a garden.
Yes, that makes sense. Mushroom coffee with MCT oil.
I think it's good. I like a mushroom gummy, pure gummy, not a gummy with THC in it. It's made by OM, Organic Mushroom. It's got 10 different mushroom extracts in it. You take 1 or 2 of those a day, you're good. I think that the mushroom extract in the coffee is good, but how many different mushrooms are you getting? If you're getting 1 or 2, it's not as good as getting 10. So, but I love the idea of the protein powder in the coffee every morning with the collagen peptides because it's great for you and no drawback. And it holds your appetite down. And you're delivering great things into your body every morning.
I've always been an oatmeal for breakfast guy myself. If I have too many eggs too consistently, I get tired of them, and I can't eat them. I get the same thing. If I have eggs like 3 days in a row, I'm like, I got to change it.
You can't have the same thing every day. One day have the protein powder in your coffee. Next day have some eggs. Next day do this smoothie with the cashew milk yogurt and with berries. I mean, you could keep changing it around. There are a lot of different things to have. You can use almond flour and make pancakes that are not grain. There's so many things to do. I would try to find a good low-carb cookbook and see, what you come up with there for breakfast options.
This is an interesting question. Is a garlic clove a day worth the effort?
Yeah, absolutely. Garlic is good for many things. Kills germs. It does have immune-stimulating properties. It helps with blood pressure, but you'd have to have 1, clove probably 4 or 5 times a day. But it's good. Garlic and olive oil. I tell people to take a tablespoon of olive oil every morning or every night, and that can kill germs in your stomach. I mean, it's good for you. It's one of the best oils you could have. That and fish oil. But the other processed oils I wouldn't have.
Someone wants to know, where do you get mushroom gummies? The good ones.
Whole Foods. Every time I see the word Whole Foods, I kind of laugh because I had a girlfriend who was from Brazil years ago, and we would go there. And at one point, she wanted to go there. She goes, "Let's go to Holy Foo." I said, "What?" Holy Foo. But yeah, you can get them online too, on Amazon.
I'm never gonna get that out of my head every time I'm going
Holy
to Whole
Foo. I mean, it sounds, Chinese, but
Is there a church there? I didn't
Holy
know.
Foo.
They're blessing the food over there now.
She was extremely funny, a wonderful person. She's very, very funny. And they had ideas that, we don't have. One day, years ago, before I got my dogs, and I would take their hair, I would brush them, and throw the hair off of the deck around the kitchen. And raccoons and possums never came by again. Squirrels never came by. Before that, you get a raccoon now and then, especially if you had something cooked on the grill, barbecue. So I must have gone to the bathroom or something and came out, and she's sitting there and trying to feed a raccoon. I'm like, "What are you doing?" She goes, "Feeding puppy." I'm like,
Puppies don't have
puppy.
4 fingers.
Not puppy, raccoon. She go, "What? A raccoon?" She goes, "Puppy?" I'm like, no. A raccoon is not a puppy. They don't have raccoons in Brazil. So she didn't know what it was. It was a cute thing with this black mask on it, and she thought to feed it. Luckily, nothing happened, but
Oh my goodness.
I was like, wow. She also completely believed that the way to tell if it's going to be sunny out the next day was listening for the cicadas, and looking to see if their skeleton was stuck to a tree and they molted.
A cicada?
They backed out of the tree, and she thought they exploded. So she said, "Oh, it's going to be very sunny tomorrow." I said, "Why?" "Because explode you. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So she would firmly believe that that's how you know it's going to be sunny, because they would explode, and all you see was left is the thing hanging on the tree.
Hey, maybe she's ahead of her time.
Could very well be.
Because I know our meteorologist needs
Could
some help.
very well be.
The chat's loving this.
Oh, yeah. I've got a million crazy stories. We went somewhere, and she looked at labels, and she actually was a nutritionist. She became a nutritionist. She's in what part of Brazil now? She was brought up in Sao Paulo, then she went to Rio, and then there's another place. For some strange reason, I think she's in a town near Recife called Recife, but that's the #1 shark attack capital of the world. And because it's the best surfing in the world, and people still go there to surf, even though they get attacked by sharks. So, I don't know. Yeah. But, yeah.
Doc. I'm dying over here. Oh, man. Not a dog. Not a dog.
No, doggy? I'm like, no. I'm like, get away. And the raccoon was bewildered too. He's like, "Who's this chick? She's not afraid of me. Everybody runs away whenever I come around."
Listen, I will say,
There's a Rodney Dangerfield raccoon.
they get
I
cute.
get
If
no
they don't
respect.
get rabies, they're cute.
Yeah.
I've seen the big videos of them picking up like brooms and they sweep.
Oh, yeah. They're crazy little critters.
Someone wants to know if you know what the name brand is for that mushroom gummy you were.
Yes, I think it's
We have
OM.
a OM.
Let me look on my handy dandy Amazon thing.
Go through this. We have a living yard. We have a living yard with dandelions, plantains, and make tinctures and teas.
That's great.
White clovers for the bees, but both neighbors spray their yards.
I love it.
Would ask them nicely first, rumble, but if they are just jerks, privacy fence.
It's called OM. It's got a big orange dot on the front of it. Let me just blow this up.
OM.
Can you see this? Master Blend.
I'm going to get it up. Hold on one second. There you go.
OM Master Blend. It's really good.
Oh,
Perfect.
perfect.
Yeah, so look, if you can do those things, more power to you. I think it's awesome. I love watching those Alaska shows, live off the grid, grow your food, shoot your animals, get the meat. I mean, it's the perfect way to eat. All the natural things, all the things from nature. There's one of the guys named Chip Hailstone who's got a great show. I forget the First Alaskans. I forget the name of it. But he's got a wife, and she's Eskimo, and the kids are all, they're propagating because each kid is having kids. And he just brings them out, gets them in a boat, takes them to a remote little island, and they just go berry picking. They pick hundreds, if not thousands, of berries. And they make jelly from it, and they make reduction sauce for the food, and they catch fish, and, you know, they ate a seal, and they use the seal skin for clothing. It's like, you're not wasting anything. I said, that's really cool. It'd be hard to do, but I would do it for like a weekend if I could.
It's incredible what they could, with the resources they could just.
And yeah, they're resourceful because they know how to build things, they know how to catch fish and dry it and do all these things, which most people have no idea how to do.
Yeah. See if I'm missing anything over here. Sadly, people are so brainwashed to the realities of nature. However, dandelions can be irritatingly invasive, so it is something to consider on your side.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people do, because every Italian loves dandelion greens, you can either do a raised box, put them in there, arugula, which I love to death. I buy 3 or 4 arugula plants from an Italian guy in a nursery just past where St. Francis Hospital is it Plandome Road? Where the corner of Northern Boulevard and Searingtown Road is. You keep going north, and it's past the nursing home. Up on the left is a nice little nursery, but he has all the seeds from Italy. So he gets the seeds every year. So these are Italian arugula plants, and they grow like crazy. You can't kill them. And they come back after the winter. But they're so delicious.
Oh, and it's, we're approaching, what do you call the flowers? Squash.
Oh, zucchini flowers.
The zucchini flowers.
Gotta love those.
It's been a while. It's been a while for me, Doc.
Yep.
What
Any
a
of the good
genius.
Italian restaurants have them.
I mean, what a genius thing. You could fry a flower.
Yep. Put a little mozzarella in it, a little seasoning in it. It's just, Italian people and chefs have figured out a way to eat every part of every plant, every part of every animal. My family used to talk about a guy that would have a push cart and come down the street in Brooklyn, and they would have leg of lamb and chicken and beef parts and cow tongue and, the lamb or the half a lamb or the leg of lamb or the brains. I mean, they had every part of the animal, and people eat it back then. They weren't afraid, and they were poor, but they didn't let anything go to waste.
Yeah. Full prosciutto leg in the basement.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm in a town, Forte de Marmi, and I just left Tom's Villa with the driver to go get some stuff at the supermarket. And on the side of the road is a little gas station, little market, little pharmacy, nothing big like we have here, nothing grandiose or showy. And I'll show you the video later. I walk into the market, I'm looking around, and I go down one aisle, I'm like, whoa, there are literally 30 big, full prosciutto ham hocks, whatever you want to call them, hanging on these hooks right in this one section. And right next to it was all the sliced meats and all of these things. It's more than I've ever seen in my life. And this is what they have in this little rinky-dink soup. Imagine a high-end supermarket, a rinky-dink little supermarket, and every vegetable and tons of color. I was like, wow, these people take their food so seriously. This is a roadside market. I mean, it's not a super Stop and Shop or a Whole Foods. And the place was busy, it was packed, but this is the roadside market. And then they had this entire case of sandwiches that were prepared that morning. I'm like, wow. And, a pizza oven and brick oven making food. And I'm like, wow, chicken. And it was unbelievable. I guess people walk in there, they get their prosciutto, or they get whatever they want. They get the sandwich, they get this, they get that. And people are eating in the car because they were so hungry.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I remember just driving back from, I think we were in Sardinia, going to the airport to go to Tuscany, And it was like, oh, you know what? Let's just stop by this little spot. We got to drop off the car. We got a few minutes. Best pizza I've ever had.
Yeah.
Best wine I've ever had. It's like, you
Unreal.
can't miss.
A little tiny little place that, nobody would look at and say, oh, let me go there.
Right. Even if you get caught in like a tourist trap
Yeah.
and you're not in a good, it's still going to be the best.
First time I went to Italy, I went with some friends. I rented a van. I didn't know any better, but we had to park the van and walk into the center of Rome because the streets were so narrow. But when I went to get gas off the autostrada, and people are driving on that road like 200 miles an hour in these exotic cars, Ferraris and Lamborghinis, Aston Martins, pulled into a place to get gas. I walked in to the market. Same thing, prosciutto, mortadella, burrata, Sam. I mean, they had like amazing food at the gas station market. And this was just a gas station market, as big as the room we have here, 10 by 10. I said, wow, these people are really serious about food. And it was good. And people would stop, fill up their tank, get a sandwich, get pizza, have some wine. It was a serious thing. And I was blown away.
Similar to the Native Americans, they were good at that in using all aspects of animals and plants.
Sure.
The American transplant seems to be handicapped with this. There used to be what was called the gentleman farmer. They went extinct.
I have a lot of friends up in Canada, in Caledonia, where there's a reservation that my friends live on. And one of them, Kenny, rest his soul, died relatively young. But they have these beautiful, like, general stores. And you could buy anything there, food and nice rings and turquoise or a bearskin mat, or you can get boots, made from the animal skin, and just, great population. Great people. I miss them. I don't see them as much as I used to.
That would be an incredible trip.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area right near Hamilton. When I first got up there and I hadn't been to that area, and they picked me up from the airport and they brought me out to this place where my friend Kenny built a gigantic building, like a 30,000 square foot building with bedrooms and everything for his friends to stay when they would come over. And people like Mike Tyson would go there. I mean, he knew so many people. He was unbelievably loved by so many people. Took care of a lot of people, financially, etc. And I get out of the car, I'm like, wow. I said, what's that smell? He says, what are you talking about? I smell, either you have a pine thing that just dispensed a burst of pine in the car. He said, no. He goes, over there. I'm like, that's like 60 yards away. I'm smelling that pine. He goes, yeah, the air is clean here. There's no junk in the air. There's no pollution. It was a big farm area. And I kept walking towards it. I'm like, wow, this is really unbelievable. This one pine tree in this area was just that fragrant. I said, man, it's unreal.
Unbelievable. Yeah, we are being poisoned every day, as the chat is making clear.
Yep. Any other medical questions or concerns?
Checking out. Let's see what we got.
Take a look at the website, drcalapai.com. Take a look at, and we're going to be starting another whole podcast, the longevity podcast, because we're launching a whole longevity project where people can send their blood work into the computer, get AI to read it. Recommendations are made for diet, exercise, vitamins, telehealth visits, hormones, peptides. Still working on that, getting through the logistics of all of it. There'll be a great newsletter with that, so it'll be coming soon. But it takes a little bit of time.
And we're very excited. Can TMJ be cured? Quick question in the chat.
It depends on the extent of wear and tear on the cartilage between the bones. If the cartilage is not completely worn down or the bones aren't damaged or eroded, some people will do prolotherapy injections and do well with that. Other people use a sort of a bite guard so you're not grinding your teeth at night, which makes it worse. And there are exercises for it.
And chat said, sorry, we know you want medical questions, but we're stuck on farming.
I know.
Any advice on help in healing avulsion fracture of knee? Avulsion.
Well, avulsion fracture means that you've pulled on the tendon so much so that the bone is pulled off where the tendon attached. So either putting it back to that spot, which would make sense, and in some cases people might be able to bind the area to do that. You know, you can put a little bit of a pad and then some tight ace bandage to try to push that back so it heals. For a lot of people, we've done stem cell therapy for that. If it's really bad, then surgically they've got to go in and, tack it.
And we're up to date.
All righty, very good. Looks like we did an hour and a half.
Pretty good. We're back. And Doc goes to Montauk.
We're back and better than ever. And now I'm going to go out and enjoy myself. Not that I'm not enjoying myself here. I really am. But I'm going to go out, relax, maybe have a nice margarita or a glass of wine, sit on the beach.
You deserve it.
Wait for the fish to come around. It's funny, these guys out there, they'll do shifts, 8-hour shifts. And then at some point, someone will, take an 8-hour shift, 8 o'clock at night. I'm like, ain't going to be me. I'm going to sleep. I'll dream about fish. I'm not going to sit there and wait for them to
happy fishing,
hit
Doc.
The hook. Thank you. If we get some good haul, I'll take pictures and everybody will see it next week.
Perfect. And we'll get some Italy pictures next week as well.
Thank you very much. Please like and share, subscribe, whatever you're supposed to do on Instagram, Facebook, and
Rumble,
YouTube, Rumble,
yeah,
all that. And we'd love to chat with you again.